I have somewhat of a scary question for you today, and that's this. What is in your attic? Have you been up there lately? Do you have a good idea of the condition of your attic and what in fact is up there? I'm not talking about critters today. That might be something to talk about in the future. The bats and the birds and the squirrels and the mice and the different types of living things that can get in your attic. You want to make sure that doesn't happen. But today what I'm talking about comes from the fact that in so many houses I go in fact, it seems like half the houses I go in, I can look up at ceilings and see either an existing stain or a stain that's been covered up in the past. And of course, sometimes these stains have been repaired and I have no idea that they were there. That's the best way to make them. But it's very common for me to see evidence of past water damage. If not damage, just staining. Where does that come from? What can you do to protect yourself against that? One that I'll mention happened to me, and that's your vent pipe covers. Your vent pipes that go out of the roof of your house, they have a flashing type of device put over them, boots, you might hear them referred to, but they're vent pipe covers. They are tied into your roofing system and they direct water where it should go. Now, when those vent pipe covers, when that boot starts to deteriorate or get old, it can get cracks in it, and sure enough, water will come in and make its way to your ceiling. So that's what happened with me. I put new vent pipe covers on and everything is lovely once again. What about your hot water heater? Is that in your attic? Well, that's not the ideal place for it, but oftentimes that's where you'll find it. You want to find somewhere else if you can, whether it's your basement, or at least downstairs on the lower level of your house. Sometimes I see hot water heaters outside of the house, which as long as pipes aren't freezing, that can be a good option. But if it has to be in your attic, you want to make sure that it has a nice drain pan and piping that will direct water out of that attic and somewhere else rather than just overflow and come down through your house like I've seen happen. Your air handler, if you have a heat pump, there's a good chance your air handler is in your attic. And that's okay, probably better than having it in a crawl space. But if it's going to be in your attic, you want to make sure that it too is in a pan with a condensate line that goes outside the house. But in the pan, you also want a drain pipe so that if the condensation ever builds up in the pan, you want it to be able to drain out. I've seen a lot of roof or ceiling damage from condensate lines that are backed up, clogged up. Maybe the drain pan is clogged and water overflows into your attic. Your HVAC contractor can speak very well to that and can help you come up with ways to remedy it. But you have to keep an eye on it on a regular basis to make sure that the condensation is going where it's supposed to go. And then there's the good old-fashioned roof leak. If you go up in your attic every now and then, and if it's well lit, that's fine. If not, you've got your flashlight and you're looking for stained plywood or OSB board where it's obvious water is getting to it. So your shingles have been compromised and that needs to be corrected because it's only going to get worse. Things are going to rot, water's going to come down through your ceiling. So those are a few things. Sometimes I can see gutters backed up where the runoff from the roof isn't going into the gutter and going out where it's supposed to. So water's building up and it's in some cases running back in the house, sometimes over the fascia board and making its way into the house. And that can be a tricky one to diagnose sometimes. So go in your attic every now and then, take a good look at it, see if you see any signs like this, and you'll be glad you did.